Or if this is your first time here, welcome. I'm so glad you found us. Today, we're diving into a book that can completely change your life. A book that doesn't just talk about success, it shows you how to create it. A book that teaches you how to focus so deeply that you'll produce the best work of your life. That book is Deep Work by Cal Newport, professor, writer, and productivity expert. But let me warn you, this is not just a book. This is a mirror. It will show you the painful truth, how distracted you really are, how much time you waste, how much energy leaks away every day without you even noticing. But it will also show you something powerful, the life you could have if you learned how to focus deeply. Think about your mornings. You wake up with big dreams. Today I'll study hard. Today I'll learn English. Today I'll start that business. But what happens? You check your phone, you scroll, you reply to messages, you open 10 tabs, and by the end of the day, you're tired, but nothing meaningful got done. You've been busy, but not productive, distracted, not focused, and slowly, this kills your confidence. The worst part? You think this is normal, but it's not. There is another way, a better way, a way called deep work. Deep work. So what is deep work really about? It's simple and life-changing. Deep work means working with full focus. No distractions, no multitasking, no noise. Just you, your task, and your full mental power. When you do deep work, your brain enters a higher state. You think faster, you learn deeper, you remember longer, you create better, and in a world where almost everyone is distracted, the person who can focus doesn't just win, they dominate. Cal Newport calls deep work a superpower, and he's right. Look around. People are busy, but not moving forward. They scroll for hours, start many things, but finish nothing, live in shallow work. But those who master deep work, they rise above the noise. They learn English faster. They build businesses faster. They create work so valuable it can't be ignored. And here's the best part. You don't need talent, money, or luck. You just need one thing, focus. And this book teaches you exactly how to build it. Imagine two people. One studies English for an hour, but keeps checking their phone every 5 minutes. The other studies for just 30 minutes, fully focused, no distractions. Who grows faster? Always the second person. That's the magic of deep work. It's not about time, it's about focus. Newport says, deep work is the skill that will separate winners from losers in the future. And that's exactly what this video will help you understand. Chapter 1. Deep work is valuable. Imagine this. You walk into a room. In that room, everyone is busy, typing fast, switching tabs, checking phones, running in stress. But in the corner, there's one person, calm, focused, creating something powerful, not checking the clock, not chasing attention, just building something amazing with deep, quiet focus. That person is not just working. That person is doing deep work, and that person is becoming more valuable than everyone else in the room. So, what does this chapter really teach us? It teaches us one simple truth. In today's world, the ability to focus deeply is the most valuable skill you can have. Not money, not talent, not connections, but the power to focus without distraction on something hard and meaningful. That one ability can change your entire life. We live in a time where machines are replacing jobs, AI is doing things faster, social media is killing attention. Everyone is busy but doing nothing deep. So now the people who will survive and thrive are not the ones with the most followers, not the ones who reply fast to emails, but the ones who can sit down, go deep, and create value. And here's the truth this chapter screams. If you can't focus, you can't compete. Why deep work equals value. Let's break it down into 3 simple truths from this chapter. 1. The economy rewards deep work, not busy work. Think about it. Who earns more? Someone who answers 100 emails a day or someone who builds a useful app that thousands of people use? Who gets more respect? Someone who attends 5 meetings or someone who writes a book, solves a hard problem, or designs something brilliant? The answer is always the one who does deep, focused, high-quality work. People pay for value, and value comes from focus. 2. Learning hard things equals the most important skill now. In this chapter, it's made clear, if you can learn hard things fast, you win. Want to master English, learn coding, become a digital creator, start a YouTube channel, grow a business? Then you must focus deeply while learning because shallow focus leads to shallow results. But deep focus equals mastery, and mastery is what the world pays for. 3. Creating things that change the world requires deep work. Nothing great was built in distraction. Not the iPhone, not great music, not world-changing businesses, not powerful books, not your dream life. Great things come from long hours of silence, concentration, and obsession. This chapter makes one message very loud. If your mind is always busy, you'll never create something meaningful. To change the world, or even just your own life, you need to work deeply. Let's say there are 2 people. Person A spends 4 hours a day checking messages, scrolling reels, replying to comments, attending meetings. Person B spends just 2 hours a day locked in a room, phone off, mind fully focused, learning, building, thinking. Who becomes successful in 6 months? Not the one who was busy, the one who was deep. This chapter explains that clearly the world is full of busy people, but success follows the ones who do the real work, the hard, deep work no one else wants to do. The problem isn't that you're not talented. The problem isn't that you're lazy. The problem is that your brain has been trained to jump again and again from app to app, from tab to tab, from idea to idea. This chapter says you have gold inside you, but you can only find it if you dig deep, not with a spoon, with focus, silence, and time. Deep work is not just about work. It's about respecting your time, energy, and brain. When you do that, you become valuable, not just in your job, but in your entire life. You want more money? Focus deeply. You want to speak English fluently? Focus deeply. You want to change your life? Focus deeply. Everything you want is hidden behind your distractions. If you learn to cut the noise, if you learn to go deep, you will create something valuable. You will become someone valuable. And that's what this chapter teaches in the most powerful way. Chapter 2. Deep work is rare. Let's begin with a hard truth. We live in a world that rewards noise. People who respond fast get praised. People who post daily get likes. People who are constantly available get attention. But here's the painful secret. We are surrounded by shallow people. People who are always online but mentally nowhere. People who are always talking but rarely thinking. People who are always working but creating nothing meaningful. This chapter exposes a deep crisis in our modern world. It doesn't shout. It whispers a warning. Real focus is disappearing, and very few people even notice. In this chapter, we're told one undeniable truth. The ability to focus deeply is dying. But why? Why is something so powerful becoming so rare? Let's break it down into real reasons from this chapter, explained in the most relatable way possible. Most jobs today are built on shallow behavior. Look around. People are rewarded for responding to emails quickly, for attending lots of meetings, always being online and available, multitasking on 5 things at once. This creates a false image of productivity. But here's the reality. Being busy is not the same as being valuable. Being loud is not the same as being smart. Being online is not the same as being successful. In many workplaces, people pretend to work while doing nothing that really matters. And slowly, without realizing it, they forget how to focus. They become addicted to distraction. Open offices and endless notifications are destroying silence. Let's talk about your environment. In modern offices, homes, schools, people sit together in open rooms with noise all around. Phones beep every 2 minutes, messages pop up all day, people talk around you, interrupting your flow. The result? Your brain never gets a chance to go deep. You're always reacting, never creating. You feel tired, but achieve nothing meaningful. This chapter makes it clear. In a noisy world, silence has become rare, and people who protect their silence are rare too. Social media is stealing attention and selling it. Here's a truth that hurts. You are not the customer on social media. You are the product. Every time you check that app, you lose a little bit of your focus. Your brain becomes more restless. You train yourself to avoid boredom, and slowly you become someone who can't read a full page, can't sit alone in silence, can't focus for more than 10 minutes. That's the tragedy, and this chapter tells you straight. If you don't control your attention, someone else will use it for their profit. That's why real focus is disappearing, because distraction is designed to win. People are proud of being always busy. Let's be honest. Have you ever said, "I'm just so busy, I don't even have time to think"? There's too much going on? Sounds normal, right? But guess what? That's not strength. That's not success. That's weakness disguised as hard work. Real greatness comes from doing less, but doing it deeply. But sadly, the modern world has taught people to look important by looking exhausted, say yes to everything, fill every hour with meetings, replies, check-ins. This chapter breaks that illusion. Being busy doesn't mean you're going anywhere. It's like running on a treadmill, fast but stuck. We're losing the ability to go deep because the world doesn't demand it anymore. Most people don't even know how to sit alone with a thought. And because deep work is no longer required, people stop developing it. But that's not the end of the story, because here's the most powerful truth. What is rare becomes valuable, and what is valuable becomes powerful. If you can learn deep focus, you rise above the rest. Let's say 100 people apply for the same job. All are smart. All went to good schools. All are good at multitasking. But one person has a secret power. They can focus for 3 hours straight. They can finish hard tasks faster. They don't check their phone every 5 minutes. They produce high-quality work without being told twice. Who gets the job? Who becomes irreplaceable? The one who works deeply. Because in a world full of distracted people, focus becomes a superpower. If you're watching this right now and you feel like your mind is always jumping, if you feel like you can't sit still, if you feel like your attention is broken, it's not your fault. The world is designed this way. But this chapter gives you a choice. Either follow the crowd and stay shallow or become rare and rise. You don't need to be perfect. You don't need to be a genius. You don't need to be fast. You just need to protect your attention like it's your life, because it is. This chapter is not a warning, it's an opportunity. Yes, deep work is rare, but that means if you build it, you become special, and the world will notice. The world will reward you, not with just money, but with peace, respect, and freedom. Chapter 3. Deep work is meaningful. Let's begin with a truth you can feel. There's a strange emptiness inside people today. They wake up, check their phone, do a little work, laugh at some videos, scroll. Then they sleep, and somehow it feels like nothing real happened. They were busy, but not alive. And that's where this chapter begins. It doesn't ask you to work harder. It asks you to ask yourself, is what I'm doing truly meaningful? This chapter is not about success. It's not about money. It's about something much deeper, something we've all lost. Today's world is full of noise, pressure, fake smiles, endless tasks, temporary pleasures, superficial rewards, but very little of that actually makes people feel proud inside. This chapter tells you what you already know in your heart. Most people don't feel connected to their work anymore. They don't feel proud of their days. They don't feel like they're doing something real. And that's why so many feel empty, anxious, tired, even when they have everything. The message that changes everything. When you go deep, you create meaning. When you give full attention to something difficult and real, you begin to feel like you matter again. This chapter explains that deep focus is not just a skill, it's a way to reconnect with your purpose. You feel more human, more alive, more peaceful, because finally you're doing something that actually matters. 3 life-changing ideas from this chapter. 1. Depth gives you pride in your work. Let's say you write something quickly, carelessly while checking your phone. You might finish it, but deep down, you won't feel proud. Now imagine you sit down, phone off, silence around. You write with full focus, full heart, full power. When you finish, you smile, not because others liked it, but because you know it came from the best version of you. That feeling, that inner pride, only comes when you go deep. 2. Deep work connects you to something bigger than yourself. There's something spiritual about it. When you fully focus on a task, you forget your worries. You lose track of time. You become completely present. This is not just work. This is a form of meditation, a connection between you and something higher, whether it's art, writing, coding, learning English, solving a hard problem. When you're fully inside the moment, you feel connected to something pure, quiet, and eternal. That is meaning, and that's what shallow work can never give you. 3. Real joy comes from mastering something difficult. Think about the happiest moments in your life. Not the quick laugh from a meme, not the thrill of a new notification, but that moment when you finally finished something big. You gave your full energy to something hard. You pushed through discomfort and you succeeded. That joy, that deep, powerful joy comes from going all in, from using your full mental energy to do something difficult and important. This chapter explains something beautiful. You don't need to be famous to feel fulfilled. You don't need to be rich to feel meaningful. You just need to give your mind fully to something that matters. Let's talk about 2 people. Person 1. They work all day, but it's scattered. Phone rings, messages distract. They're half in, half out. By the end of the day, they feel tired and unfulfilled. Person 2. They work less, but with deep focus. They sit with intention. They give their best effort to one thing. When they finish, they feel joy, peace, and confidence. They might not get more likes, but they go to sleep smiling. That's the power of meaning. This chapter changes your entire mindset. It tells you you've been chasing more speed, more likes, more money, but what you really needed was depth. Depth in your actions, depth in your mind, depth in your life. And once you taste it, you'll never want to go back to the shallow world. If your life feels too fast, slow down. If your days feel empty, go deeper. If you feel like you're drifting, find something hard and give it your full attention, because in that focus, you'll find peace, you'll find confidence, you'll find joy, you'll find you. Deep work is not just a productivity tool. It's not about working like a machine. It's about living like a human being with purpose, with pride, with presence. You don't need a new app. You don't need more goals. You don't need outside motivation. You just need one thing: to protect your attention and give it to what matters. That's where meaning begins. And once you discover that, your life will never be the same again. Part 2. The rules: how to do deep work in real life. Rule 1. Work deeply. Let's begin with a shocking truth. Most people today never truly focus. They wake up, grab their phone, get distracted before they even brush their teeth. Then they go through the day answering messages, jumping from one thing to another, always busy but never present. They think they're working, but they're not. They're just reacting, scrolling, rushing, repeating. They never stop, but they never go deep. That's why their work feels empty. That's why their progress is slow. That's why they feel tired, but stuck. And that's what this rule is here to destroy. It teaches you how to build a life of real focus, not just for 10 minutes, not just once a week, but as a daily way of life. This rule gives you